It is very uplifting, that music, isn't it? You do feel like you have to stand and sort of
I like it.
salute. Evening,
Oh,
everybody. We're back.
Canada. Oh, wait, wrong.
No, wait, is it Greenland, isn't it? We're supposed to be singing. Anyway, we'll leave politics aside. We'll leave politics out of this because heaven forbid we've got enough to talk about as it is. Boys are back. How are you doing, boys? Happy Monday. Welcome to Let the Mayhem Begin with myself, Groovy. Got Italy Jet Gino in the house. We got Matty with his fancy new hoodie on. I'm loving that. How you doing, boy?
Yeah, man, living the dream. So I actually, do you know what? I think I actually got this hoodie last Christmas. I'm just very terrified to wear it because I'm horrendous at staying clean at just about any situation. So obviously this is terrifying.
It is very terrifying.
But yeah, boys, I am good. Gino, how are we doing? I know we were just having a brief chat about a different sport, and you didn't seem overly happy. So how's the football world treating you, mate? What's going
Which one?
Which one?
Let's go with the life of a West Ham fan right now. I feel like we do not have enough time to talk about life as a Jets fan.
Yeah, who cares about that? NFL, college, UFL, who cares? For me, honestly, a little hope. I'm gonna be fair. I really am liking the overall. It needed to happen. Me and Gary have been talking about it. Maddie, we talked about it a little bit. It needed to happen either now or in December, and it's a good time because Potter got a lot out of this team against Aston Villa. Even though we lost, we kept up with them pretty well. But overall, no, I'm happy. No, I think we need a striker. Our whole entire injuries is horrible right now.
How many people you got on the physio table right now? It's like
6. I think we have 6, like 5 to 6. It's not good. It's not good. So we need a forward and we need a goalie. We need a couple mids. It's defender.
I think you're right. I think you're right though. Getting him in now, just at the beginning. Okay, it would have been better just at the end of December, maybe.
Yeah.
But at least he's here. He's got the ability to make some transfers in the January transfer window. So Hey, DJ.
Yes.
Yes, loving that. For those of you who weren't aware, DJ put a little reel out over the weekend about the NFL around the UK, and he said that the boys would be back: Matty, Alec, and Graham. We're still trying to work out who Graham is. So hopefully he'll turn up on Thursday.
Spot on. I think that's nailed.
I think you're right, Peaches. I think Potter is a good shout for West Ham. He's going to bring a way of playing that I think the West Ham fans will at least enjoy, whether or not the results are forthcoming quickly. But Potter at Potter at Brighton, he played a certain way, and Matty will probably kind of remember how he played at Chelsea. It was possibly a little naive, but it was attacking him and it was exciting, which is what the West Ham fans have been crying out for with the kind of dour sort of football that they've been getting. So I think it is a good appointment. I think he's got the time to kind of dive in, maybe grab something in the transfer window. As you say, you've got a few holes, you've got a few broken up players.
Yeah,
there you go.
It's true. It sucks, but it's true. We're linked with.
Wait. Is Darren Anderson still playing? Anyway,
Oh, shut up. No, we're linked to a few different forwards right now. I think, I like who we're linked with too. So I think it's going to be good overall.
Yeah, DJ. I think everybody's agreed with the fact that it was the right time. Lopetegui's experiment, if you like, just wasn't working out.
Right. The talent's there, gentlemen. The talent's there. It's always been there, but it's like even the old Moyes era in the beginning. Can he get the best out of these players? In the beginning, Moyes did. At the end, Moyes didn't. So
there's a time limit, isn't it? Yeah. There's a time window on all these managers, though.
You got to save this team. He has to save this team. We're in 14th, 15th place right now. You got to save him.
Yeah.
I feel like, to be fair though, the whole sort of Graham Potter appointment is very smart. It seems like the kind of thing that West Ham need. Maybe they need a bit more of a manager who's going to just kind of go a bit more sort of under the radar and kind of carry out his business just in a way that he is happy with. Because for the record, that is the reason why it didn't work at Chelsea. You had these owners who were just spending money left, right, and centre, and a manager who was always kind of very opposite that, right? Who just kind of wanted to go about their business and do their project as they kind of saw fit. And I feel like that's exactly what this West Ham team needs. I feel like he's going to need time because that's what Potter does. He he is a project manager.
Correct. Yes.
But I feel like he's in a good spot for this. I genuinely feel like this is such a good appointment. Like I feel like this is the size that Potter needed. I feel like this is the type of manager that West Ham needed. Like personally, I get you, Gino. I know feeling optimistic at a club like West Ham, who can sometimes be questionably run, is scary. But I feel like this is a pretty nailed on appointment. Like this feels this feels good.
I think it ticks all the right boxes. How long has he signed it for as well? Is it a 2-year, 3-year sort of contract?
So it's a trial for 6 months, and if they like him and they like it, they're going to extend him 2 more years.
It's interesting that he signed that as well. I mean, I guess from Potter's point of view, getting back into the Premier League, getting back into management.
He's been out.
It's almost like a prove it deal as well. So that's interesting.
But also, gentlemen, what you got to realize is, Mark Noble played a very big role into this because Stedman, our GM, looks like he's on the way out, and Noble is going to probably fill that GM spot. So it's going to be this summer is going to be very interesting. There's no confirmed reports that Stedman's going to be gone, but I think in all the West Ham communities that I've been in and seen on social media, there's a big feeling that Noble could take that GM position. And also the players have been complaining to him like crazy about Lopetegui and Stedman as in general. So this is a pretty big move. Potter, I think, is the right move for England, and I think Noble will be the right move for England as well. I'm talking about just for English football to get back to West Ham ways.
Interesting. Yeah, well, it might be interesting, will he bring that in and kind of clean sweep GM, new head coach, see where he end up.
Well, they learned their lesson. They learned their lesson with Lopetegui, to be fair.
I suppose they have. They've tinkered around or whatever else. But you mentioned a previous manager of yours, David Moyes. We might as well talk about him. He's gone back home, for want of a better description, back to his kind of original roots. He's gone back across Stanley Park. He's now back at Goodison. It was intriguing, and I don't know what else Sean Dyche could have done with Everton. He's in a handicapped situation with the points, the money, the budget, and being taken over. That club was in that kind of status quo. He didn't have any money to buy anyone. He didn't really have a choice to do much. Granted, they're in a position which is probably not where those new managers and new owners want to be. But I didn't think Sean Dyche was doing that bad a job at Everton that would necessitate a change when it did. And also to go back to David Moyes, though, it feels... I don't know how I feel about it.
I don't know. Well, actually, I feel like I do know in this certain situation. Moyes is really good at getting the teams out of the gutter. And I think this is that time that Everton can use a guy that's familiar. And I think I've never been a Moyes fan, but in the beginning it was pretty nice because of the Pellegrini situation. He got us out of it. We went to Europe as well a couple times, and we finally won the Conference League. Honestly, I think this is the right time to kind of bring David Moyes in. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, right? But I think this might be actually a good time to do this.
I mean, I get maybe they're looking ahead. That as you say, he somehow does enough to keep them in the Premier League. Gets enough points, draws, whatever else, tightens up the defense, make sure that they stay in, because obviously they're moving next season to their new place. They've now got new ownership, so there's obviously going to be a whole reshuffle, and everything's going to look very different at the end of the season. But I guess get Moyes in to keep you in the league and look where you are for next year. Maybe that's what they were thinking. I just thought, if you're going to, it's very much like a few years ago. If a team was in trouble and they had to change their manager, everyone knew you were getting Sam Allardyce in. Sean Dyche, to me, was that manager. If your team's in trouble, you go get Sean Dyche and he will save you. Hey, Mike. But now they've decided that maybe Moyes is the relegation saviour, or at least, the stabilising hand on the tiller. I don't know exactly. Maybe Sean Dyche is in a similar situation at the Wolves, Gary O'Neill had, where he kind of lost the locker room because he started to kind of blame some players. He started to blame some of the players towards the end of his press conferences. There was a few comments where it was like the players have got to do better rather than we we have got to do better. So I think maybe there was a hint of disruption and a hint of disrest like that. And David Moyes, if nothing else, will make sure that they're all singing from the same hymn sheet, and the locker room or the dressing room is all on the same page. So from that point of view, I get it.
What do you think?
I just thought it was an odd one.
I don't hate the appointment for a number of reasons. Like, I feel like David Moyes going back, I guess, there's going to be that sense of familiarity, and I suppose the work that he did with West Ham, again, like, whether you liked his kind of style of play or whatever, that's very much personal preference. But bringing European silverware to a club like West Ham is huge. So obviously in that regard, it's obviously a good pedigree of manager for them. And again, that familiarity can only be a good thing. I think I guess the problem is Gary, I totally agree with that. I don't really know what more Sean Dyche was supposed to do. Like, you can throw around the amount of money that Everton have spent in previous seasons, blah, 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 blah. That's kind of all gone now. Like, if you actually look at the squad that Everton are playing with, there's a lot of genuine dog water there. Like, there are some really good players. There are, players like Jordan Pickford, who probably play for most Premier League clubs. Like, let's be real. Like, there are some genuinely really good players there, but you kind of seem to start running out of that quality very quickly.
And they're old.
Yeah. Like, there's a couple of, like, Dwight McNeil's not that up, but like, I know what you mean. A lot of the building blocks of that team, they're not spring young.
They're not spring chickens. You're looking at Seamus Coleman, Leighton Baines are still around. There's
but to be fair,
aging players there.
To be fair, though, Moyes
Ashley Young plays for them, right? He's still
Llewellyn's still there. Llewellyn's still there as well. I mean, to be fair, though, Moyes is talking about even playing past this year from all of his press conferences I've been seeing the last 10 hours. So it seems like there is kind of a future there. It's especially what he said. This stadium is elite. Now we need to go and get some elite players. His quote. So it just sounds different.
No, maybe it is, and I think that is. I think there is that optimism. There is that new ownership that's just come in. Maybe a pot of money in the transfer window to freshen up.
Maybe.
But, the question I have for that is, how quickly can a new manager come in with a treasure chest or whatever, a war chest, and get if he goes out and buys 7 or 8 players, because Everton need that many players to kind of fill some gaps.
They need at least 10, in my opinion.
Yeah, maybe 12, let's be honest. Yeah. I think maybe, as you say, Jordan Pickford and Dominic Calvert-Lewin will probably be the only ones that you would think would hold their position. How quickly can you integrate a whole new team in January to kind of save your season? It'll be an interest for the there you go, 6 months will do it. Yeah,
it's true though.
Maybe it'll take that long, so it'll be an interesting experiment. Definitely, and I think for both teams, it's an interesting time to watch how those new managers and what they bring to the table. Will they galvanise? As you say, we've said it before about the Wolves. They got that new manager bump. Look how well they're playing. Will West Ham, will Everton get that new manager organisation back? From a West Ham perspective, as you say, Mark Noble, Graham Potter, English core back into West Ham. Will that kind of help them stabilise? And will David Moyes bring that sort of safety organisation that he was renowned for at Everton? They never played the greatest football, and you'll remember that from his West Ham days there, Gino. The football was pragmatic, but maybe that's what Everton need right now, is they just need to grind out some results.
It's going to be especially what? Oh,
Chelsea.
Yeah. That's true though.
Chelsea have more players than most of the Premier League put together, haven't they? Still Matty on their books.
Yeah, I'd like to talk about it.
And then
to be fair,
go on.
Sorry, I was going to say this is a very valid question. I feel like this is a podcast in itself, because that's a very
that's true.
That's a very, very, very loaded question. But also a very good point. I mean, like, no English manager has ever won the Premier League, which is like mental when you think about it. But that's. Yeah.
But then you look at the Premier League now and you go, how many English managers are there? And you go, 2 now.
Yeah, they're all going.
One. There's only one. Graham Potter, right? Who else could you call as an English manager? That's it. I don't think there's another one.
No, I think
Actually,
right.
you might be right. Actually, now I think about it.
Moyes is Scottish.
Oh no, Eddie Howe.
Guy Ipswich. Eddie Howe.
Oh, Eddie Howe. That's right.
So
Wait,
there's
Cooper.
two.
Cooper?
Cooper is.
Is he Welsh?
Wait, isn't
Welsh?
Cooper gone?
Who's Steve Cooper managing now? It's nobody in the Premier League, is it?
Oh no, he's not in the Premier League anymore.
He
right?
got sacked, didn't he? He gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got sacked. But
And
no,
the guy Liam McKenna's
he's Welsh.
Irish, right?
He's Welsh. He's Welsh.
And Liam McKenna's Irish at Ipswich. So I think, yeah, it is just the two, and that's been indicative all the way through the Premier League. I don't think, as you say, Michael, Welsh and God, there you go, nice one, Peter.
Good point.
But as you say, they have. I don't know if they've been undervalued or they've been. There's a lot of, you must do your coaching badges, and to get to the Premier League, you have to go through a number of hops, skips, and the jumps to get to your UEFA Pro, whatever it is, league badge. And the majority of players who end up going into management, it seems like they can do it because they've earned a lot of money over the time. Because I don't think doing UEFA badges is cheap, and therefore, if you're a lower league and you're knocking around, it's a lot of money for English managers to do it. And I'm sure I read somewhere before that European managers and European don't have to pay quite as much as English managers to do those coaching badges, which is, I think, why there's not that many coming through.
But like realistically, though, even if you look at the high-profile ones that have been working, I mean, Wayne Rooney, he was failing upwards for a bit, and now he's just left Plymouth by mutual consent. I mean, Frank Lampard, love the guy. I mean, he's taken over at Coventry now, so he's doing a job, but based on his kind of, I guess, managerial trajectory of a couple of years ago, you would have assumed that he would be somewhere else. Gerrard is still managing in Saudi? Is that still a thing? Like,
I think he's still out there.
It's definitely not. Holy cow!
Wow.
What happened?
God damn. That is not cheap.
Holy crap!
That is not.
That is why you get guys coming out of first division, second division, whatever, suddenly going, that's a lot of money to lay down on just to get a coaching license that may get you a job.
May.
So it may get you a job. And I don't know if that's the same price across the board, but it will be interesting.
Insane, guys.
So yeah.
Anyway, I feel like that topic is its own podcast in itself, which I'm sure during an off-season episode we'll have time to discuss that.
Wow.
I'm sure. Yeah,
it costs €530 to get a UEFA A license in Germany. In England, it costs £4,390.
That's so stupid.
How does that make sense when it's a UEFA license?
Oh my
God.
Okay,
English tax isn't just player related. Then it happens with coaches as well. Yeah,
it's like 10 times more expensive to do it.
I don't know. Spain's taxes for a professional athlete are insane. I wonder what type of coaches.
But I feel like Spanish management is in like a good spot right now. I feel like there's a lot of
no on how to get a license there because
yeah.
Spain tax the crap out of athletes. So
really?
Which is the whole Lionel Messi setting everything in a tax fund somewhere and not paying and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Interesting.
Interesting. That is quite interesting.
Wow.
That it's that different. I didn't realize it was, that level of almost 10 times as much as it is for
kids, coach your kids. Coach your kids. That's it. No license. It's free.
It's free. Do coaching from the sidelines is great. Grassroots development of sideline coaching. I mean, wow. Anyway, sorry.
Or high school.
Yeah. Thank you for the question, Michael. It has sent us down a little bit of a rabbit hole, but I think you're right there.
That doesn't sound like us.
That never happens. I think you're right there, Peter. I think we definitely answered it because it's only going to be. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we should circle back to Big Davey.
Amaran, with me and you, Maddie. We didn't get your. What did you think about that? We didn't get your thoughts on that.
Well,
with me and you.
That's a good question, now, isn't it? That's a good question, isn't it? Isn't it, Gino?
That's why he asked it, right? I mean,
Peaches has been asking, what does Maddie think about his mate? I'm like, you know what? I don't know. Let's ask him.
I was asking. Let's get on with it.
This is what makes Gino such a good podcaster. He comes up with the questions, the good questions,
The hard-hitting questions.
The hard-hitting questions. Hit me, Gino. What was the question?
Amaran, what do you think about his appointment of Man U?
Oh, do you know what I do like it. You know me. Look, I'll stick up for the Portuguese league. Okay, I'll absolutely hang in there for my Portuguese friends. But it's a tough one because I mean, to be fair, he's had results now. He's beaten Guardiola again, although I mean, City clearly are not what they have been in previous years. I think that is fair to say. Welcome, Daniel. Hey, man. Nailed that greeting. You can tell I've been doing this very recently.
Absolutely on board. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, no, I'm doing really well. No, I do like the appointment, but I think it's just the Man U of it that stresses me out because I don't trust them. You know, like that feels like the problem. Like again, it seems like a sensible appointment and a manager that seems to know what he wants. And like it feels like a lot has come out since then. Like Marcus Rashford all of a sudden seems to have become a big thing, and apparently he's potentially been a bit of a problem for a while. And it's like, wow, okay, that's come out, but I just don't know how much faith I have in everything above him is the issue, right? Like, you know, Jim Ratcliffe coming in with his interesting ideas of like cutting funding to the charity that helps like ex-Man United players that are struggling to make a living. And you're like, oh, well, I guess if he's making this big cut to help them and it's going to help them a lot financially, then like, okay. But then you find out that the donation is like 40 grand a year, which for a club like as big as Man United is literally nothing. And I cannot overstate that enough. That is nothing for a club like United. So that just feels like borderline Scrooge behavior. Like, you know, it's stuff like that really starts to kind of rub me the wrong way about, you know, when he came in, it was all like, yeah, don't worry, we're going to do things the right way now. And I just feel like a lot of what he's doing is like, this just feels like Glazer light, doesn't it? Really? Like, it, you know, It doesn't feel much different. So, sorry, again, mildly sidetracked there, big time. I like the appointment, and I feel like it's going to take time because Sporting is obviously a big club, but that step up from Sporting to United and, you know, that whole thing, that is a massive shake-up, massive change, and that can't be understated. So I like the appointment. I think he's a good manager. He seems very confident in himself as well, which I think you need for a job like United, where you're going to be in the public eye a hell of a lot. But same old United. I don't know how much, if any, faith I have on the infrastructure above him, which I think we all said was the issue before Ten Hag left, right? Like,
it's been the issues, as Michael clearly states here, since Sir Alex Ferguson decided to hang up his whistle and go, right, I'm out.
Alex Ferguson was able to paper over a hell of a lot of cracks, and I don't think people realize quite how much work that man was doing. Like, obviously he was doing bits. You can't be that successful for that long without doing an incredible amount of work, but I don't think people realized quite how much work he was doing and like quite how much he was papering over. Like, it's, you know, since he's left, it's kind of crazy how much like one person leaving can just change everything.
Change the whole thing.
And I get that he's not just one random guy, but yeah.
Well,
the biggest success has been Mourinho finishing second or something, wasn't it?
Right.
It's like, wow, you know.
I mean, I'm even gonna take it a step further. It's kind of like what Wenger was with Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, they
ever since then.
It's been floundering a bit. They needed somebody else to come in, and I think Matty's right. Maybe Amarin is that guy. Maybe he has the chance. He's young enough to stamp his authority and stamp his identity on it. But will it be ruined? Will it be completely undermined by the fact that the stadium has fallen down and they're penny pinching and they're not giving him any money for transfers, and, you know, all of the stuff that now comes out, like you say, Rashford and his prima donna, and has he been the problem for all this time since, you know, he hit the headlines with the school dinner stuff? Has he gotten a bit too big for his boots? And, you know, are there too many big egos in a dressing room for that young manager to cope with? Don't know. I mean, he got a great result at the weekend. So, getting a draw against a team like Liverpool, who, let's be honest, I think most people expected United to get a bit of a pasting, and they didn't.
I think he would be great for West Ham.
I'm taking. They've knocked Arsenal out of the FA Cup as well, haven't they? With 10 men.
Yeah,
like that.
With 10 men with some kids
I
as
know,
well. So.
Oh, just wait! I have a bit for that.
Anyway, we're getting to the FA
just
Cup
wait.
stuff.
No, but I think honestly though, with Rashford, I think if anything, what West Ham has done has kind of been putting careers back on track, especially Lingard. I know Lingard, went to Forest, and we all know how that played out. But Lingard was really good after the whole crap happened with him at Man United. If Potter can do that, if Rashford does come, and can be that type of guy, I mean, that's just going to be a steal in itself. So I wouldn't say it's hopeless with Rashford, but Rashford as of right now is definitely one of the problems. 100%.
Yeah, he's got to. I think
he's got to get humbled eventually. There's going to be something that's going to happen. That's going to humble.
Something's going to happen, and maybe it's being told you're out, being sent on loan or whatever else. And this is
just don't date. Don't date for a while, Rashford. Just focus on football. Focus on football, Rashford.
And it sounds like maybe it's the best thing for both. It'll be the best thing for Man United, and it'll be the best thing for Rashford to go somewhere else. Because as a player, I mean, I don't like him. Because he's been at Man United and he's kind of caused problems at Liverpool, and I don't like him from that side of things. But as an English forward from the national game side of things, he needs to go somewhere where he starts to enjoy his football, gets played in a position he likes to play in, and rediscovers what he used to have. And if that's at West Ham, or if that's at a lower team down the way, or even if it's in Turkey, as you say, Lingard and some of their players have been sent over there as purgatory or whatever you want to call it, but go out there, go play some football where you kind of get out of the spotlight, get away from everybody. As Peaches says, how often does that happen? And they leave Man United and actually get better?
Yeah, I feel like we've definitely
I feel like
that
I would say
times.
There's been a few sort of redemptions.
I mean, I've seen that a few times.
Hang on. Who is the current Man United centre half?
Like as of right now.
Yeah. Not Harry Maguire. You've got Johnny Evans, who left Man United 10, 15 years ago.
Oh yeah, that was a
right?
while ago.
A while back. Wow. He was at Man United. He left. He's gone and he's earned his stripes and played well at Leicester and gone around. And now he's back at Man United. It does happen. Maybe that Man United theatre is too big for some players, and they need to go into a smaller, less frantic, less spotlight area to play better.
It can be right. I feel like even if you look at like a more recent example, like someone like Jadon Sancho, obviously when he came in from Dortmund, there was this whole thing, and he kind of very openly was like, "Yeah, I'm going to be the guy that helps turn this team around." And for all intents and purposes, he was more than talented enough to do that, right? But yeah, exactly that United experiment didn't work, and I get he's still on the books there. He's only obviously on loan at Chelsea, but you saw what happened when he went back to Dortmund for that 6 months. Like something just changed for him.
Yeah,
like United is a tough. Yeah, Zaha's a cracking example, or someone like Adnan Januzaj back in the day. He kind of burst onto the scene. Everyone was like, "This kid is the new guy." Not that he's not kind of he's not been like a total failure. Like I think he's still at Real Sociedad. Like he's still playing football at a decent level, but everyone thought this kid was going to be like the guy. And United is a hard place to be. Like I think even coming from obviously I know none of us are the biggest fans of Manchester United, and I feel like that's an understatement.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
But I feel like we all kind of have to concede how massive of a football club they are, even if they're absolutely terrible. Being at Manchester United is huge. I mean, someone like I don't know, like Mason Mount's a good example, right? Like when he was a Chelsea player, I worshipped the ground that kid walked on. I thought he was incredible, and I know he's had a hard time with injuries, but since he's moved to United, he has not been the same player.
Withered underneath the spotlight. Yeah.
Like United is just a hard place to be, which is kind of my point about Amorim as well, right? Like Sporting is a massive club, but making that step from Sporting to United, that is a crazy step, and like that cannot be underestimated at all.
How crazy is it that Man United have been successful since the Mourinho and Zlatan days when Pogba just got there? How crazy to think about is that?
I feel like the crazy thing is that
but
feels like yesterday, and I bet that's going to be like I don't even
Like,
know
it's
how
like
long ago it is
10
now.
It's 10 years
years
ago,
ago.
gentlemen. Like, how
I mean,
crazy
Pogba's
is
just
that?
hung up his boots or something, or has he been banned again, right? And what's happening?
Everyone says he's rumored to go to Inter Miami, but I don't know.
I don't know. I thought he just get sacked from Juve for match fixing or drugs or something.
I wouldn't
I
be
thought-
surprised. I wouldn't
be surprised. Something's gone wrong with it.
And I mean, it just.
I don't know about that one, Michael. I'm not sure about that one because Bruno, on his day, yes, he has heart and desire, but then also on his day, he definitely goes missing, and
he's the heart and soul of that team.
Yeah.
Well, that is the problem. That is the problem.
Yeah,
That Bruno
it
is
is
heart
the
and
problem.
soul,
It is the problem.
and his heart and soul is either when he's on it, but when he's not, he is so not on it, and just
when it's not going their way, I feel like he does get quite tantrumy, which.
Brilliant.
Well,
I feel like sometimes you kind of want to see that fire from a player, but sometimes it's just a bit like, all right, fella, let's just.
All right. When it's not going his way, he literally just kicks out at people and just almost
Very
deliberately
clever,
gets himself sent off. Yeah, I thought it was something like that. Peaches, appreciate that.
I mean, and more news though. Man City. Thoughts and prayers to hit. Everything's getting worse for them. Guardiola and his wife have separated, so that's a huge thing right now. And Kyle Walker's on the verge of going to Milan.
No,
Kyle Walker's getting out of there because his wife wants a bit more money. I think. Anyway,
no, he's only asking for $4 million. He's only asking for $4 million. That's it.
Yeah, well, maybe that's because of the divorce proceedings. He doesn't want that much money. Anyway,
guys, this is not a good thing. Enzo Fernandez and his wife broke up, and Enzo Fernandez turned into the best midfielder on the planet for like a month. If Pep Guardiola and his missus have split up, we're in trouble. It's bad.
They're separated until December, so it's horrible. There's things going. What's going on in England, guys? Like, what is it about England right now?
It's the weather. It's this sort of time of year where it's just like dark all the time. You just get
we're pretty miserable normally, but like winter just gets a bit worse.
Normally.
Winter's. But yeah, I think City. It's interesting. I mean, they just kind of. The game at the weekend, we might as well start talking about the FA Cup. Yes, they had a very nice, easy draw for them. It also helped that they were beating up on the Man United Legends team, the team owned by the class of '92, and they put 8 goals against Salford. But this is like Gino, for reference from your point of view, it's like Kansas City playing a high school team. It's the Chiefs playing a high school team. It just doesn't correlate. There's just no comparison between Man City and Salford. They're like 4 divisions lower or whatever else. So this is what happens on these sort of third round weekends. You get such, mismatch of teams that are completely different. For Salford, it's like the best thing they could have done was not win the second round because they then wouldn't have to face Man City type thing. This is like a one-off weekend. Maybe it's the game that gets right for City because, people scored. Grealish finally scored after 19 years or whatever it has been. So maybe this was what they needed. But also, I wouldn't read far too much into it because I think they're still in a bit of disarray because it was, again, only Salford.
Yeah, I mean, and then, props to... the youngster out of former West Ham player Mbamba. Mbamba, he scored his first goal. I was really upset that West Ham let him go because I really thought he would have been really something. But if he clicks once he gets that opportunity, he could be the next big thing for Man City, in my personal opinion. But yeah, it was a right game for them. But how long is it going to last, guys? Like, there's so many things we could say about that game.
Yeah, it's just it's such a one-off game. I wouldn't put too much, emphasis on that game. Let's see what they're like in the next Premier League game. I don't even know.
8-0 against Salford City. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's literally, and it was like their reserve team and their backups and whatever else. So stuff like that. You can't take that. Everyone says get a good cup run, and it kind of leads into your league games, but. Maybe it will for City. Maybe it will kind of knock the rust off and turn the corner for them. But I think maybe from a title perspective, they're probably too late to turn that corner because I think they might well be out of it, the amount of points that they've dropped.
Yeah, I feel like the title is probably done. To be fair, there is one thing I want to have a bit of a rant about the FA Cup. I'm not gonna lie, I feel annoyed by the FA Cup.
Okay, hang on. So this is nice. We'll just kind of segue into your rant. Michael's starting passion of the FA Cup, and it has been, I wouldn't say tarnished, but the FA Cup as a competition has lost its luster over the last 10 years or so. It's it's become a lesser competition for the big teams. Now,
Yes.
that's what I'll say, and I'll let you rant from that point on there, Matty.
No, that's fine. Personally, I feel like anyone that just doesn't think the FA Cup is how you say the tits, they're just wrong. Like winning the FA Cup is absolutely mint, or like just the FA Cup in general. Like, I mean, when else are you going to see a team like Tamworth play Tottenham? What a ridiculous fixture! But how wicked is that? Like, you know, this was
they took him to extra time as well. Let's be honest.
I know. See,
which is total Spursy of that.
Yeah, here we go. This is where
here we go, Spursy.
This is where we're getting angry. Why have we got rid of FA Cup replays? Like, okay, I get it. Oh, fixture congestion. The players are playing too much. Blah 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 blah. Isn't this not the same Tottenham team that 3 days after the end of last season flew to Australia to play Newcastle for some reason? Do not give me that beep about you're playing too many games. Agreed, you are. It's ridiculous. But also, if you can't beat Tamworth in 90 minutes, what are you doing? Like, that's a joke. Tamworth earned a replay, and going to a stadium like Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and the amount of money that Tamworth would have gotten from that would have been so big for that team, right? Like lower league football clubs, again, like Gino, I don't know how much you know about this, but like smaller football clubs like Wycombe Wanderers are a great example.
Right.
Years and years and years ago, I want to say it was actually
like
against
Plymouth, all that.
Yeah.
Yes,
I want to say it was actually, I feel like it was also against Tottenham, actually, not to just dig Tottenham out here, but they earned a replay to go to White Hart Lane, and the Wycombe owners are quite good and used to be very open with the finances. And by getting that replay, you know, when Wycombe were in a much worse state, literally secured the club's financial future for about another 5-6 years before they even had to worry about anything. Like, that's how big these big games are for smaller teams. And the fact that has just been taken from Tamworth, because having to play that extra half an hour when your first team players are working 2 other jobs, and Tottenham can bring on God knows whatever quality from the bench and score 3 goals past you in extra time. That is so brutal and unnecessary. Like, so unnecessary. It's just so frustrating. Like I said, especially I get there are too many fixtures of football. Absolutely. You know, with the new Champions League format, it's just more games. I totally agree that fixture congestion is a problem. But I also feel like teams like Tottenham or just any Premier League team, like, we're so privileged. Like teams like Wycombe, again, not to just dig the Wycombe guys out, but they play in League One. They play more fixtures anyway. They play more regular league games. They play in another cup competition, which used to be Johnston Paint Trophy. I don't know what it is now. I think it's just the EFL Trophy, whatever. They play in, you know, the EFL Cup. They play in the FA Cup. I get they don't have European competitions, but their squad is probably like a third of the size of a team like Tottenham's, and they're probably playing about the same amount of games. I do not want to hear big teams whinging about like fixture congestion and stuff anymore. It's so annoying. It really frustrates me. Like, I just feel so bad for teams like Tamworth who've been absolutely done out of something.
They've been robbed. They have been. I mean, one of the joys of the third round of the FA Cup is you get thrown up Tamworth v Tottenham or Salford v Man City.
Like, what a fixture of football that is! What a fixture!
But
like seeing
the
Tottenham
absolute
rock
beauty
up at
is
that stadium. It's amazing.
The real beauty is that, you know, Tottenham rock up there and are used to playing on carpet football. You know, they're pristine home ground and pristine Premier Leagues, whatever. They turn up at Tamworth and it's lumpy and it's bumpy and whatever else. That's the beauty of it, because it gives you that small club, that home field advantage. And to get to 0-0 after 90 minutes and whatever else, absolutely fair, because that then gets them that money-spinning replay at the big club. And as Peaches just put in there, you know, they could have, from that replay, gone to Tottenham and earned probably close to £1 million, which would have saved. It would have been, I think You know,
For
for a
Tottenham,
club like
nothing. For Tamworth,
pennies.
that is everything.
And
Like,
usually, what
Right.
usually happens on those replays is the big clubs, like if Tottenham were taken to a replay and gone back to White Hart Lane, whatever it's called now, Tottenham Stadium, what normally happens is the big club just goes, "Hey, Tamworth, here, have all the gate receipts. We don't need it. We don't need this. You can have it all." And as you say, it's enough for these small clubs to then run for years without suddenly worrying that the taxman is going to come knocking or the bailiffs are going to come shut the door, because they've had this massive windfall and it's just been stripped away because we play too many games and we're tired.
A lot of people. Yeah.
Like, again, I'm not saying that fixture congestion isn't an issue, because I'm fully aware it is, but I just feel like when you look at it in perspective, and of the lower league clubs
and they've got academy squads that they can play the FA Cup if they're that worried about it.
Yeah. I mean,
it's
Tottenham, half their
infuriating.
players that started were academy players, so
Right.
and bench players, to be fair.
Yeah.
If you choose to play your academy players and they can't get it done, that's on you. You have to go again. That's just that's how it always has been. I hate that stuff like that is getting taken out, because it feels very like not like Super League-y, but it is almost that. It's like, oh, well, we're too good to play these guys. All right, we'll just play a little bit longer, chuck the first team guys on and get the job done. Fine. We gave the kids.
Didn't really want these guys. Gave them a go. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no repercussions for them not being able to beat a team they should be comfortably beating, when Tamworth have probably played the game of their life just for it to be, tied right back in their face. It's so silly.
Yeah, and DJ's there. So how many games do the NBA players play in a season? Loads. How many games do baseball players play in a season?
Oh god,
a crap ton, though. To be fair,
like 900 games. It feels like sometimes it's like they can do it,
and then they go play for their the national teams at the end of it. Yeah, at the end of it every year. So I get it. Winter ball.
That's an interesting one there, because the EFL Cup, because that's the English Football League, that is also a money spinner for those clubs in the lower leagues. So you can't get rid of that cup. Maybe make it just the EFL and take the Premier League out of it. So the Premier League players don't play that cup. And it then gives the lower leagues and the championship teams an ability to go and win a bit of silverware, go to Wembley, have a day out. That's the whole thing. The magic of the FA Cup is you could end up getting a big day out of Wembley. So maybe take the EFL Cup and say, if you're in the Premier League, you don't get to play that. And it then frees up some, place for them. But it's ruined the FA Cup. Taking away the replays is just another stab in the heart of what is the oldest, most beautiful, cup competition, because any team in the country could win that at the beginning of the season when they start. I've played in FA Cup games. Granted, it was like in the 16th preliminary round for a Sunday League football team, but I was playing in the FA Cup and there was a chance. However tiny and minuscule, there was a chance that we could win 10 games. And guess what? We're playing at Wembley. It's that kind of magic and that kind of beauty.
But like you said, that's the beauty of the competition. Like, my brother played very, very unserious Sunday League football, but was he involved in a cheeky FA Cup clash? I'm pretty sure he was. Like, it's so stupid, but that's what makes it beautiful, is that you have players who are literally, they've probably gone out on the lash on the Saturday, they've rocked up on the Sunday morning, been like, oh god, like, all right, let's just crack on, get this sorted. But in theory, all they have to do is win like 5, 6, 7 games. Oh bang, we're in like a semi-final against like a ridiculously big team. Like, it's so beautiful as is. And this is again why I say I feel like anyone that does not think the FA Cup is elite is just wrong. Like, because knockout football is beautiful. Like, obviously I love the Premier League, and any league football is wicked, but when it is literally all on the line and like that is it, like, it just it's up that extra notch, right? Like, the jeopardy is just anyone that disses the FA Cup is just wrong.
And that's why I love the Premier League with the Caribou, because I love the Caribou Cup too. Like, that's one of my favorite competitions, and also the FA Cup and how big it can be. It really has been an embarrassment, unfortunately, because when I look at all the other leagues, I'm like, there's just nothing bigger than these. in my opinion.
Yeah.
You can maybe say maybe the Scudetto and maybe their other cup that they have in there. But for me, it's English Premier League football. Those three have been such a pillar for such a long time, how big that they can be. And now it's just an embarrassment because you even come up with teams that you don't even hear of now.
Yeah.
It's like, who the hell is this team? So I don't know.
Yeah, that was the beauty of the FA Cup, and it has gone away from that. And it's
like
just
Arsenal and Leicester.
local-
Arsenal versus Leicester. Like, oh my God. That was such a great game back in the day.
Exactly. And you had, and I think what a lot of the guys are saying here, it's the Premier League and the UEFA Cup and the UEFA Conference League. And you look at how many games there are now in Europe for a number of more teams. You know, there's a Champions League, there's UEFA Cup, there's a Conference League as well. And, you know, we're not going to take that away yet, Gino. You know, you just won that a few years ago. So you don't want to lose that. But there's so many games in that now, you know, especially now the way that they've done the Champions League now like a league round robin as well. You're like, there needs to be some balance where.
No, it just needs to be a balance. Just critiquing. That's it. I'm not complaining about it. I love it all.
Don't take it away. Whatever you do, don't take it away. But bring back the replays. Bring back the jeopardy.
And also, these players are going to keep retiring early if it continues to drain them out because now they got to go play for their national team as well. And they got to go play a national team in the summer. Players are going to continue to retire early or go abroad, like, say, Asia, or even in the United States and even in South America, and they'll play less games. But the climate's totally different.
Totally.
So,
and in the Europeans, there's a big thing, the winter break that the Europeans get, whereas in the Premier League, over Christmas and New Year, it's like frenetic. You get a game every 3 days. It's mad, and that's slightly different. And maybe that's where we could look at it. Introducing a winter break, maybe reducing the games around that period to then reinvigorate January, and January being a cup week. Just make the end Christmas and January the cup time, and it brings back that jeopardy, brings back the magic of the things. Who knows? There's got to be something that can be done because it is ruining the greatest cup competition in world football. It's the one that every other league
100%.
aspires to. It's the most famous.
100%.
It's probably the most famous trophy, second maybe only to the World Cup. I would suggest anyone you would show them a picture of that trophy, most football fans will know what that is. Most non-football fans will probably know.
I feel like it's important to acknowledge both sides because, again, like, I am not saying that fixture congestion isn't an issue. Like, I mean, especially, like earlier this year, or earlier last year rather, when you literally have a player like Rodri saying we can't keep playing this many games or something bad is going to happen. Then, like 2 weeks later, he does his cruciate, like his ACL. Wow, that's probably not a coincidence, is it? General footballing governing bodies. But I just feel like they're just adding in like more and more and more stuff. And it's like, okay, this new stuff is fine. Although the Champions League format, I would ask absolutely nobody asked for it. I know it's just, we need this to come.
Well, the accountants did.
Super League job. Yeah, literally. But it's just, I just feel like the old stuff is getting neglected. And I feel like stuff like the FA Cup is kind of why a lot of people kind of fell in love with football, right? Like, I remember, just watching random FA Cup games and being like, I have no idea who these two teams are, but like they're on BBC One, so I'll stick down. Why not? And then you all of a sudden fall in love with this random club that's in the middle of absolutely nowhere, and you're like, yeah, do you know, I'm invested now.
I'm invested. I'm going to support Wrexham before Wrexham got taken. Wrexham v Arsenal. There you go. And that was the thing. Also, as you just highlighted there, it was free to air. It was on public TV. You didn't have to have a subscription. You didn't have to pay for it. It was always free to air. BBC, the standard sort of, I don't know what it's like in the States, maybe like it's a PBS. So it's you don't have to pay for it.
You do have to pay for it. It's a ESPN Plus usually,
right,
or if you can get a stream somewhere, at least
somewhere. But I mean, in general, you don't get many free to air channels in the US, right? Like there's a public broadcasting sort of network where Sesame Street is played on type of thing, right? Where you don't have to pay for that. That's where they would put the FA Cup games on for the UK. So you wouldn't have to pay for it. You wouldn't need ESPN or Sky or anything. Yeah, they go free to air, and it's like it brings the magic back because
all like English international matches, they have to be put on free-to-air television. Like it's a whole legal thing because they're like, right, you can't gatekeep this. This is literally the country playing football. People are going to want to watch this. But yeah, I feel like anything club related now, there's just 90% of it is just behind a paywall, and like it's so sad because I remember like when I was like a kid, I remember being like sat at my nan's house, and my nan would have like the Champions League on ITV1, which again, like just free to watch telly, and you could just watch it. And I feel like thinking about that now, when I'm like 10, 15 years removed from that, I look at it and I'm like, that's mental. Like I could never imagine a Champions League match on free to air telly because it doesn't happen. But then you're kind of like, well, like why does it? I mean, I know it's all money and all that jazz, but which is why so many people are like struggling to get into football now. Like kids probably are getting into it less because it's an accessibility issue. This has gone very deep and philosophical.
Very deep, this one. I mean, you started this, Michael, but it is one of those competitions that sparks the imagination of the next generation because they get to see it. They don't have to. It's not hidden behind £60 a month paywalls and stuff like that, and you don't need 15 different accounts to watch your team. There they are in all their guts and glory, and often some of it is in horrendous. I remember watching FA Cup third round replays and whatever else, and the pitches were just mud baths, and you're playing in you're playing down Hackney Marshes, and it's like the ball just lands and doesn't bounce because it's so wet, and it's just like, and football, all the pretty football goes out the window, and some rugged tackles go in, the good old fashioned football, and they don't like it up and kick them, they don't like it. The big clubs are coming in. That's what gets your kids involved. That's the magic. It's not. I mean, I get that the fancy Premier League teams and the beautiful football is nice, but it's hidden away. Whereas at least the FA Cup is there and it's raw football. And as Michael says there, this is what you used to do. You'd see the FA Cup, and then you'd go out in the park and you'd play the Wrexham v Arsenal, or you'd play the Giant Killers, or you'd play on Subbuteo, or stuff like that. You would go and replicate it, and now you can't do that because it's like, oh well, yeah, you did really well for 95 minutes, Tamworth, but in the end you lost 3-0, and that's all that everyone's going to care about when you should have had a replay. It's horrible.
Because it's like even when the fixtures are on TV now, it's like the other day it was like, oh yeah, the one that we're broadcasting is like Man United Arsenal, but there's all these other interesting games going on. I'm like, yes, watching Man United Arsenal is fun, but like, stick some random team on telly. Like, why not?
Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see that. That's another one, Michael. It's a great one.
Absolutely. Why is a semi-final at a neutral venue? It's a semi. Nobody cares. Nobody cares if you lose in the semi-final. Nobody gives a toss. Like, and
that used to be the thing. And you could guarantee. I can actually remember where they used to play the 4 semi-finals. Do you remember where they were, Matty? They used to play one at Old Trafford.
Oh, wasn't the other one at? I want to say it was at Villa. Was it
Villa Park?
Yeah.
Hillsborough.
Oh my gosh.
Oh shit. I remember now. Oh my god.
Now we're going back.
No, it wasn't St James's.
I just had a Vietnam flashback.
Yeah. And there used to be one in London. I'm pretty sure they played one in London at one of the London clubs.
No, it was London. It was
definitely.
I feel like stuff like that I would feel more okay with. But yeah, I've never understood why like a semi would be at Wembley, because like I said, the final being at Wembley, yes, that's the big thing, right? You go to the big stadium
day out at Wembley, right?
In London, it's the big thing. But because I watched again, not to just keep bringing up Wickham, but I went to go watch the Wickham playoff final when it was Wickham Sunderland. I mean, we lost, but it was a whole thing. It's that big day out at Wembley, and I feel like if you have that big day out experience and then it's only a semi-final, even if you win, obviously that's exciting, but then you're like, oh, okay, well now I just have to come back here
in 2 weeks
to do this again. Right. I feel like it takes away from the whole thing of going to Wembley. It should be that's like the pinnacle. Like, why are you going to Wembley and then somewhere else, or just back to Wembley? Like, it's just a weird.
Wow. This got deep.
Way too much.
It did. Yeah. It's got deep. Wow. We haven't even talked about the football or results.
Yeah, do we have any results you want to highlight from the?
No, because I just saw this and I literally wanted to bring this up. DJ, Go to Breaking Premier League. Here, put that up there on the screen, Gary, if you can.
Yeah, let me find it. Where was it?
It says
it.
DJ Fiera,
Yeah.
Breaking Premier League will issue disciplinary charges.
There it is.
So I saw this a few hours ago, and I wanted to mention this, and I'm actually really happy that DJ brought this up. And Peaches was even.
Yeah, Peaches mentioned it as well.
Yeah, Peaches' vendetta against Leicester has come back.
Peaches was more targeted towards Leicester.
Yeah, but I mean, she's right about Man United. I was going to highlight that team. Man United is in trouble. City and United. I think both.
Oh, really?
I think, we saw what they did last year when this all came around, same sort of time, when Everton got slapped and Forest, I think. There was a couple of things, right? There were a couple of teams who got it, and Everton got it really bad. And the precedent has been set, although the precedent for the 115 charges is still outstanding, for crying out loud. What the frick is going on there? But yeah, this could be a big shake-up. As you say, Leicester City seem to be the ones that are a kind of rumoured to be under the cosh here and could be in trouble.
Because I feel like there was kind of chat about it last season. Like when they were kind of knew they were coming up, there was always that hint of like, obviously the fan base is excited, but they also are quite aware that they might run into an issue.
Might run into a bit of an issue.
You know, even if the Premier League campaign was going swimmingly well, they were quite aware that something might happen. Now that it's not going terribly fantastically, this could really be a problem.
Agreed.
It'll be interesting to see what happens there. It will be interesting to keep a track on that and who gets what sort of level of punishment. Is it just you've been naughty, here's a bit of a slap on the wrist? I don't think they can do that anymore, not after what they did to the teams last season. So
for sure,
they've kind of weirdly made a rod for their own back for actually punishing teams for doing stuff, unlike being complete spineless tools against City, who they still haven't decided to do anything about. And April, we still have to wait until April before we know. I mean, that's just insane. There you go.
This season, it's interesting, but I guess it's also kind of hard because obviously Newcastle were able to spend a good chunk for a bit because of how little Mike Ashley had spent for a long while. But obviously they've kind of caught up with that now. So, because I know it is all about profit and loss, and it's all a bit, and obviously Man City do spend a hell of a lot of money, but they do also.
They've got like 60,000 players in their academy that they sell for profit.
Yes, quite. Which, like, again, this is going to make Chelsea look horrendous, but I mean, what doesn't? But this is kind of how Chelsea have got away with a lot of their spending, is they've brought in a couple of players, and then you notice all of our academy players are just gone. Like, you know, Trevor Chalobah, Mason Mount, Conor Gallagher, because that way, all of the money you get from them can just be written off as 100% profit because they've not been brought in from anywhere. They're just like, oh yeah, I mean, obviously you have spent money on them, right? Academy prospects don't just happen. Like you've nurtured these kids for a very long time. But you know, that goes down as pure profit. And I mean, to be fair, let's be honest, it's probably a lot of very dodgy bookkeeping. Let's call a spade a spade. I'm sure there's not a whole lot of it that's totally above board and totally legal. You know, let's call a spade, man. Like, you know, it's rich people figuring out how to stay rich. That's how
the rich get richer, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. Rich keep getting richer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be interesting.
So, yeah, it will be interesting, and I just hope that if they do be draconian with it in the same sort of way they were with Everton, when eventually the Man City stuff comes out, they have to keep the same level.
Because that's the problem. They've set themselves such a severe precedent now. Because
for small indiscretions, I would suggest,
in the terms of, you know, what this City side are being accused of, Everton really did not do that much. So, you know, if these rulings do come in favor of the Premier League over Man City, if they've set that precedent, they need to stick to it, and that would mean City would get absolutely hammered. But if that's what they've set, don't flake out on it
They
now.
shy away from it.
Very
Don't
good if
go,
they
that's
conveniently get
you
away
can't
with
say-
this. Yeah,
they
that's not
can't-
going to look good.
That's quite strict on them. We can't really do that. It's like you can't do it to them, but you can't do it to everybody else. Michael, ideal scenario possibly, but
it's just not possible.
it's just not possible with the differences in the different
The
clubs
discrepancies in team wealth. Yeah, it would never.
It's absolutely insane. I mean, the money that Man United and Liverpool pull in from the Far East, as we call it, shirt sales for Man United and Liverpool are the biggest money earner in, far outweigh West Ham sales or anything like that. And there's no way how would you salary cap saying, oh, you sold that many shirts, so therefore you can't do this, that. It would be impossible. It would be ideal, but I don't know how they would work it. It's an NFL thing. They're able to manage that because it's 32. Nobody gets relegated. Nobody goes up. Nobody goes down. You've got those teams, and it's a closed environment. I don't think you can do that with the football pyramid as it is.
Yeah, I agree. We talked about a lot, gentlemen, but we haven't talked about the matches.
We talked about football at all. We talked about
we just
all
Maddie
This
so
has
much.
been-
We just missed Maddie so much. I feel like.
Sorry, I've come in, I've ruined everything.
You really
and,
have. You really have.
Just
yeah.
been generally quite angry. That's pretty much what's happened. Yeah.
Well, with your shirt the way it is with the 49ers, I understand.
Do you know what? I'm feeling much better now. I think when I logged on this evening, I was feeling frustrated, but I'm good.
You've got to rant out your system. You got. It's good.
you gotta
Well
get
done, Michael.
the-
It's just lighting the touch paper there to get you started.
Yeah,
on the
I'm just-
Epic Cup magic.
just feel upset for Tamworth. That's my main takeaway from all of this.
That's hilarious. You're so upset over that.
I really am. Do you know what? I only really knew who they were because Spudman and his van are there. I mean, that's a very niche UK
Hilarious.
reference if anyone's packing that one.
If you anyone picks that one up.
Damn.
But yeah, I mean, I'm gutted for them. But Spudman will still be there cracking on. So
Yeah.
It'll be a silver sun again
can't
this
wait
year.
for Thursday. Oh, DJ, you wait, son. You think my football opinion's been hot? I've been cooking some NFL bad boys. Oh, you wait, buddy.
Don't you worry about that.
Don't you worry.
Do we want to do a quick look ahead? I mean, I know we're an hour and 2 minutes in, and we've kind of ranted and raved. Do we want to have a quick look
Are
at the
we-
schedules for this?
Premier League, right? Not FA Cup.
Yeah.
Premier
Yeah,
League.
we can't go back. to
Yeah,
the-
yeah. We got to do the week ahead. We got to for sure.
We got to have a look.
Come
Right,
on,
let's
then.
have a quick.
Let's do
go on
it.
then.
Let's
Scores and
do
fixtures.
it.
What we
Come
got?
on.
Where do we start?
Okay, match day 21. So we're at 21.
Was that today? It is today, isn't it?
Yeah, we're past midnight. It's now today.
Oh, tomorrow for me. It's still tomorrow.
Tomorrow for you. Yeah.
Oh, tomorrow for yeah. Oh shoot, that's
Well,
crazy.
I know we're time traveling. What the hell?
What the heck is
Yeah,
going
go
on with
figure.
my life? Okay, all right.
So
Chelsea,
some
Chelsea,
crackers.
Bournemouth. You want to take this, Maddie? I
Chelsea,
want to
Bournemouth,
see.
yeah.
I want to see your opinion about it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Chelsea have
Yeah.
kind of stagnated a little bit. Not even kind of. We have stagnated recently. I mean, you've still got teams like Forest, who, to be fair, at this point, I'm just massively rooting for Forest. I love the
Hell
fact
yeah,
that,
Forest.
I love the fact that a team with Chris Wood up front can still
I
be
know.
third in the Premier League.
top scorer, Chris Wood. Let's be
It's
honest.
top scorer. in
Exactly.
the year of our Lord 2025. What a madness! Love it. Anyway, that's
God
another
save the
sidebar,
Queen.
just totally gone.
God save the
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, we
whatever.
no, to be I just for the record, I never said we were ahead of schedule. Cole Palmer FC was never going to win the title this year. I'm fully aware. But yeah, we've definitely stagnated a little bit. Quite weirdly, if you kind of look at what happened with Maresca and his Leicester side last season, very similar thing. I mean, they were dominating the championship, and then kind of over winter fell off a bit of a cliff and let go of one of the biggest leads in the championship that has ever been seen, and proceeded to finish second and obviously get an automatic promotion that way. So it's an interesting kind of little thing that we've had a bit of a fall off now. I mean, just our last 4 games: draw, loss, draw. That's not
great.
not flying form. I won't lie. It's not fantastic. I mean, City
It's still
are
fourth.
on better recent form than us now, so that's worrying. I mean, yes, we are still fourth. It's still really tight though. To be fair, I mean, we're on 36 points. Newcastle breathing down the next 35. City are on 34. Like they kind of seem to be coming around. Bournemouth, who are playing, are on 33 points. So I mean, realistically, this game could have a fairly big swing. Let's be fair, our goal difference is a bit mad. All right, maybe not. I'd take that back.
Let's careful there.
But yeah, I mean, Bournemouth are just such a sneaky good team.
They
Like I
really
feel like
are.
they're such a small team, and I feel like I still feel like people are underestimating them. But Bournemouth are solid. Like Bournemouth are a solid team, and to be fair, whilst we're kind of faltering, they're definitely not the kind of team I would ideally like us to be up against right now. But
No.
here's the situation we're in.
Billing went to Napoli, so they lost a big guy there.
Oh, is Philip Billing gone?
Yeah, Napoli just went to Napoli a couple days ago. So
That's a biggie. That is a biggie.
That is big. I mean, quite literally, he's like what, like 6'8"? He's
dude,
massive.
he's tall as hell.
He's huge.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
absolutely huge. Okay, well, good. Well, okay. Well, now we don't have to.
Max Aarons has gone as well.
Yeah, Valencia just today.
Easy, mate. Chelsea 3-0. Done.
Oh,
Look at that. Bam.
damn!
So quickly.
They've lost two players. Yeah, it's changed. No, I feel like I don't know. I'm just gonna go. Let's just go 1-1. I'm happy with that.
1-1, really? All right.
Yeah, I feel like we are going through a bit of a blip right now. I don't overly trust us to get this job done. I mean, to be fair, if we get a draw against Bournemouth, I'll be happy with it. That feels disgusting. But
That's terrible.
you know,
That is
if we
terrible.
don't
That's
embarrass
absolutely
ourselves,
horrendous.
I'll be good with that.
That's terrible. Get out. Get out.
Maddie, quit while you're ahead. I missed you. Quit while you're ahead.
Let's get into Graham Potter's first game. London
How do I
derby.
even fall them?
Oh, jeez.
London derby. West Ham, Fulham. Tough.
Okay. No,
Tough.
Gary, we need to say Chelsea and Bournemouth. Who do you think's going to win?
Chelsea are winning that 2-0.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I think it's going to be 2-0 Chelsea as well.
You're underestimating Bournemouth, boys. You watch. This will come back. This will come back. All right.
No, maybe. No, I think this is. I mean, they're in 9th place right now. Fulham. According to the last game, you guys got to go. What's been leading up to it, and they're coming from a tie from Ipswich Town. So this is going to be a derby. This is going to be a battle. I really think they're going to put Bowen up top. They can't trust anybody else. All of our forwards are dead.
Yeah,
so
I saw
it's like
Fulkrug's been injured again today, hasn't he?
Poor guy.
He's having a rough time of it.
I mean, coming from all this success and then coming to us and just injury city. I just think this is going to be I really think it's going to be a good game. I really do think this is going to be a 1-1 tie. I really do.
Okay.
I don't think Fulham is going to. I don't think it's going to be a win for Fulham. And I don't think it's going to be a win for West Ham.
Fulham are doing what I expected Fulham to do. If you look at their last 6 games, it's like draw, sneak a win, draw. It's just
Ipswich. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad, though. Ipswich, come on.
Yeah, that's not great. But again, that's Fulham for you, right? They are.
It could be worse. You could lose to Ipswich. That would be really bad.
That would be terrible if somebody was to do that.
That'd be really stupid. That'd be very Spursy.
You know what? I'm just gonna say 2-2. I think it's gonna be crazier than people think.
Goals.
I think 2-2. Now I think about it.
I think it's gonna be a draw. I do think it's gonna be a draw. Probably a 1-1 draw.
I think it's 2-2.
Yeah. It's just gonna draw. It just feels drawy.
I feel like that's an okay result. Like, Fulham are ahead of West Ham in the table. I feel like that's the kind of result that Graham Potter would take. I think the biggest thing is going to be seeing how the team plays. But yeah, I feel like you take a draw as a West Ham fan.
I mean, the thing is,
they've been playing better under Potter. That first game, I've seen a lot with Potter that first game than I have with Lopetegui since the first game. I mean, ever since they lost huge that first game with Lopetegui, they haven't bounced back, created anything. So for me, I've seen a lot even from the young guys the first game. I think he could build off that. I really do.
Tough game for the City to go to, though. Brentford at home. It's a tough place, Brentford, to go.
Gentlemen, it's a 1-1 tie. Come on. Just stop.
Yeah, it's Brentford at home, right?
Just stop.
Brentford at home.
It will be a Desmond 2-2. Amazing.
Desmond. A good old Desmond. That's what Moyes is calling.
No. 1-1 for me.
Yeah,
Brentford taking. I don't see City. I mean, we've talked about City and their Salford thing.
Yeah,
but yeah.
But I think that's obviously that's a good result for City. But I don't. This team just strikes me as a bit complacent, and like we said, I feel like they're obviously having issues. I mean, this Kyle Walker thing is very interesting. I know he's had a fair amount going off the field. I feel like that's a different podcast entirely. But yeah, I mean that's just another thing for that City side this season. Like it's
kind
just
of overcome.
It's just something else, right? And that feels like something that City don't need. So, and Brentford again, sneaky good team. Like they're one of those teams that they maybe aren't the flashiest of teams, but also they're not a team that you want to deal with, like kind of period. So, yeah, I'm happy saying that one's going to be a draw as well. I kind of fancy Brentford to get stuck into that one.
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a draw, but I also wouldn't be surprised if Brentford nick it 2-1 either. Just because it's at the G-Tech and it's sneaky. They're really good there. They are really good there. Then we got the top of the table clash, Peaches. Top of the table clash.
Yeah, this is going to be the
I mean, I can't believe we're saying it. First of all, I still can't believe we're saying this.
The sportsman derby.
It's great. I love it.
Great, right?
Freaking love it, man.
Forest, Liverpool. I mean, after stumbling against Manchester United, we did not play well at all. Trent.
No, you did not.
Oh, wow, he was found out. Amarin, I think, did really well with his positioning of his players, and Trent Alexander-Arnold had a shocker, an absolute shocker. So this could be. I mean, he played very well in the FA Cup, and he got a bit of mojo back, if you like. But this is. I don't know. It depends on how Forest approach this one. They still have the Monaco over us.
What kind of lineup?
Yeah, how they're going to line up because they're the only team that have beaten us in the league. Yeah. We have, so they've still got that. We have just lost against Spurs. I mean, how Spursy could you lose that against Spurs in the cup and then whatever else, and then they go and do what they did against Tamworth. So I think there might be an element of parking the bus in the nicest possible way from Forest to try and sneak on the counter attack set pieces. Why wouldn't you when you got Chris Wood in your team? I'll take a draw away to Forest, which is weird, but it's Forest are flying and getting a draw at Forest at the City Ground. That's not a bad thing to walk away from.
Nah, y'all always are not good in the beginning. You guys always close really well. It just seems like that's just been the thing for Liverpool. You score like 3 goals in like 10 minutes. So it's it's just always like seems to be that the way. I think this is going to be a draw 2-2. I think it's a safe bet because I can't from everything that's happened with Man United and with the Spurs and facing against big teams right now, like as we're talking about in this moment going in tomorrow, I think it's safe to say that Forest and Liverpool are top dogs, and I could definitely 2-2.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Maddie?
I think no, that's going to be outrageous.
Oh boy. Cover your ears, Peaches. Careful. This could get messy.
Chris Wood hat trick, but Mo Salah scores 4. Like that's the kind of. I feel like that's the kind of ridiculous game this is.
I have
a feeling that this is just going to be something really stupid. I don't know. I feel like it's going to be a high scorer. I feel like Liverpool are going to get the job done, but I feel like this Forest team is plucky. Like they're kind of playing. What's the phrase? They're playing with house money, right? Like who expected Forest?
Peaches has already said
literally nobody. Nobody. Exactly. Like
nobody.
I feel like
safe from relegation. That was Forest's target, right?
Exactly.
Don't get relegated.
This Forest team are going to be up for it. What So what if they get not battered, but what if they just go all out for the win? If they go for the jugular and then they get beaten, like I don't think any Forest fan is going to be too disappointed if Forest lose this game. Equally, if they win this, that is huge. So I mean,
for sure.
I think Forest are going to be going for this. I feel like this is going to be entertaining. I think Liverpool will get it done, but I think this is going to be
goals. It's going to be ding
either way. I want to see Gary cry. That's all I care about.
With happiness or upset, just as long as he cries.
No,
as long as
exactly.
Got it. Okay, yeah.
Good stuff. Right. Appreciate that. Thanks for that, G. I love
you, man.
Appreciate that, man.
Wow.
Newcastle Wolves. Come on, Newcastle Wolves. Come on.
It's got to be a Newcastle. Wolves have had a bounce. Wolves kind of got righted the ship, if you like. But Newcastle and Isak, Gordon, they're really starting to play some good football. So that's got to be a home win.
Yeah, I think Wolves have turned a corner, but I can't see past Newcastle in this. They're
3-1.
looking
3-1
good at the moment.
Newcastle, in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel
Isak
like it's
scores
going to
a
be fairly
hat-trick.
comfortable. Yeah,
Isak scores a hat trick for me, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Leicester City, Crystal Palace.
0-0 tie, baby. 0-0 tie.
Sorry, Gary, seems to have lost you for a second there. You okay?
I couldn't even read out the fixture. That's got 0-0 written all over it, that one.
It just stinks of like a 1-1 and both goals are own goals type jobby. You know, like it's just going to be absolutely stinky. Like 0 shots on goal all game. There's just some back pass howlers or something. Like it's going to just be
goalkeeper howlers.
It's going to be awful.
Right.
It's the dreadful game. Dreadful game. Everton, Moyes. What about Everton's Moyes' homecoming? Aston Villa coming to town. Aston Villa have been
the signing that they had today.
Yeah, Villa have been very in and out at the moment, haven't they? They've been like very in and out. And I feel like this was kind of going to be expected. I mean, I know they're obviously kind of combating European football, and we all know that Villa do have a really good squad, but it's not the biggest squad. So we all kind of thought they were going to be teething issues with this. So I guess it's kind of to be expected. But yeah, I
Now keep going.
I feel like Villa will get the job done. I think it's maybe a bit soon for Moyes to have turned Everton round, because
facts.
As much as like a new manager bounce is always a good thing, but
it kind of needs some time to do some
genuinely
training.
forget how honking this team is. Like this isn't. He's not walking in somewhere where you're like, this is going to be fine. Like this is a team that's still teetering on the edge of something quite bad. So yeah, I think Villa's quality will kind of shine through here and get this done.
After the guy that they got from Dortmund today, Malone, it's the Dutchman. That's a great signing for them. And not only that, it bounced back to get everything back on track for them against West Ham in the FA Cup. Also, Moyes is going to lose today and win against Spurs next week. Come on. Let's just be honest here.
Yeah,
they're going to lose 2-0.
Spurs are going to Spurs. Yeah,
that's a sport.
This is a 2-0.
We love predicting a Spurs loss.
We love predicting a Spurs win followed by a Spurs
Moyes will
loss.
have his moment next week. Moment next week.
Which will be fine, because obviously that means that Spurs are going to turn up against Arsenal, North London derby, and turn Arsenal over.
Oh yes,
but then also. Would that not be the most Spursy thing ever? Turn up in the North London derby, batter Arsenal, be like, right, that's it. The title's
Spurs
on, and then get
Spurs
battered by
we've just talked.
Like,
Spurs, as we've just talked about, though, who just scraped past Tamworth with extra time. And then we'll go up against Arsenal and probably put on a show and beat Arsenal 2-0.
Absolutely do them, and then David Moyes will beat him like 6-0 next week. Yeah, it'll be
something
going to
get spanked by Everton.
It's really going to happen. Listen, Arsenal and Tottenham, it's going to happen. Salaki's going to score a hat trick. Son's going to score one. Koletsky on the bench is sort of Swedish Giants going to score one.
Kulisevich.
Listen. What have I been saying on this show about Arsenal? What have I been saying? The downfall, and you just saw it in the FA Cup with Man United. They're done, gentlemen. They're done.
Yeah.
They're done.
It's done.
They've lost it. It's gone.
To be fair, without Saka, they're a different team. Big time.
Way different.
Yeah, Peaches is there as well. Arsenal are headless.
I've been predicting
Arsenal
it all
fan
season.
TV is doing bits right now.
I am sticking with it. The downfall continues. It's going to continue.
Long may it continue. I'm with you. I'm with you. They feel like they're losing it, and Arteta seems like he's getting a bit too. DJ's red and white
here the whole time. What are you talking about?
You know what he's like. I do see Tottenham winning this. I just think Arsenal are in a bit of an awkward situation, and it's a North London derby. All bets are off in a North London derby. I think who knows what could happen, but I got a feeling Spurs are going to Spurs. They'll probably beat Arsenal and then completely and
then do something really stupid soon after.
It's going to be like 2-3-0. I don't think it's going to be.
I don't even think it's going to be close.
By the way, you spelled my name wrong, DJ. What are you doing?
Who is this? I mean, he called me Graham.
What the
hell? Called me Graham.
What the hell are you doing?
DJ's just giving us all random names.
All my Arsenal friends are like
it's all going wrong.
There we
We're
go.
going
DJ's calling it an Arsenal win 3-0. Right.
Oh, okay.
Bookmark that. We'll come back to that.
We'll come back
The
to
thing
that.
is, this is just a win-win. I love beefing both teams. So if either one of you gets spanked, I'm happy. Or
And I hate
if neither of you get spanked and you both draw, amazing.
better.
Then neither of
Even
you
better.
win. It's
Right.
good,
Dude.
you know.
Let's
Listen,
get-
I hate Arsenal. I'm sorry, DJ. I hate them with everything. All right. So
Right.
Ipswich and Brighton. Brighton 1-0.
Ipswich are at home though, and I think they're plucky. And Brighton have been a bit. Brighton should win this.
I think 1-0.
But
I really do.
Ipswich.
They should, but
What,
no, I'm
is
up
this
for
the
it.
Calvin Phillips homecoming again, where he scores another goal?
Yeah. Ipswich are
Where
going to
did
get
that
that.
come from?
Ipswich
Where
are
did
getting
that
that
happen?
4th win of the season. I'm calling it. It's happening.
Ooh,
Oh,
Ipswich
wow.
to win against Brighton.
Time I called an Ipswich
can
win,
see
it
that
was
too.
the biggest
I
win.
It's true. The biggest win.
So-
It was true.
Oh,
Right. Peaches is with you.
wow.
Peaches is calling it.
It is a 1-1 tie. 1-1 tie. Look at that.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think Brighton
10 out of
take
10
this one.
opinion,
I think
Peaches. Almost.
I think Brighton
10 out of
Brighton
10.
take it 2-1.
No.
And then I think Southampton get a big win. Southampton get a really big win midweek.
Whoa. Whoa.
Oh,
Totally
no,
don't
Michael,
believe
you're
that.
the worst kind of listener. Please don't do this. No.
Oh, I don't care. Guys, write everything. I don't give a
I
crap.
care. I say stuff that's pretty controversial, Gino. You should know
Hey,
this.
hey, listen. I am all about the accountability. So if I'm
Bring it
wrong,
back
I
next
will
week.
firmly admit it. I will firmly
Okay,
admit that I'm
Michael's going to bring it back next week. So what do we think? How
Well.
bad is
It
how
isn't
bad
the
is the Man
consequences
United
of my
Does
Southampton?
anybody even know him? Does anyone know Michael? No.
Hey, he's
Well,
a
Michael,
avid
nice to
listener.
meet you. If
Nice
Yeah,
to meet you,
but
buddy. Thanks
I
for tuning in. I'm
I have no idea.
not sure
but
how
he
you've
seems like a cool
stumbled
guy.
into our madness, but please,
right.
please come back.
Please
Please
come
come
back.
back. So,
Please come back. I want to know.
so what do we think? Man United, Southampton. How bad is it going to
dude,
be?
this is going to be. I really do think this is going to be a 2-1 win. United. I don't think Southampton's going to be. I just don't think so. I think Man United are going to win this 2-1.
Yeah, I would love Southampton to do them, but as little faith as I have in the infrastructure at Manchester United, I have
Right.
even less faith in Southampton right now.
How freaking hilarious is that too?
It would be so funny though.
The fact
It would be so
the
funny.
fact that Derby's record is even getting mentioned, like, do you
Right.
understand how bad you have to be? Like Sheffield United conceded a record amount of Premier League goals last season. They conceded over 100 goals, which in itself is disgusting. And they still scored more points than this Derby team. You cannot be in that conversation because this is like my theory. Right? I mean, what was the record for that Derby team? Was it like 11 points?
11 points, I think, was it?
Something like that. I like even just thinking about it. If you stuck Wycombe Wanderers in the Premier League for a season, right? They would obviously get battered 99% of the time. Are
Right.
you telling me that a team like Wycombe could not house their way to 4 wins in an entire season? Like if they just treated every single game like an FA Cup game, like it's all that matters. Are you telling me that a good top of the table League One team could not just again house their way to just 4 wins? Like, you know, I'm not asking. It's not much. 12 points is all you need to beat that massive total. 12 points is all you need. I'm pretty sure if Tamworth can hold Spurs for 90 minutes, okay, so let's assume that Tamworth game is a Premier League game. That's already a point. You only need 10 more.
A point. There you go. You're in there. You're in there. I don't know. Southampton, they just got to win it. They just won. They got a little bit of a bounce after the FA Cup game.
Oh,
Just-
stop
Right.
it.
I don't know. I'm just. It's my Liverpool glasses on. I just want United.
Oh,
to
trust
lose
me, no,
every
I would-
single game.
I would love, like, just
Love
the
it.
meltdown afterwards. I would love Southampton to do this, but it's just.
Yeah.
It's
It's
not
just not
happening.
going to happen this week. It's not going to happen this
It's
week.
not going to
unfortunately.
happen ever, gentlemen. I'm sorry. It's done.
No.
I'm sorry.
What do we
It's
think? 2-0
done.
United then?
2-1. They'll get a goal.
Well, you can at least you're giving them a goal.
Because it's going to be something stupid that United are
Hmm.
going to do on defense. It's going to be an own goal.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, but
you're
mate,
right.
they've only scored 12 all season. I don't even know if they're going to get that.
Yeah, it's true.
They're literally in last place.
Yeah, it's just
Literally
rough.
last place.
Yeah, I think
so bad.
2.
United, I
maybe
can't,
3-0.
I can't count on United's defense either. That's why I'm like, I think it's going to be an own goal somewhere.
That's true. To be fair, do they have any fit centre backs? I mean, as much as I,
Dude,
you know, as much as I love their
Harry
defense.
Maguire's going to do his turning like a tanker and put it in for his, off his knee, something. It's probably
Big Harry.
I love
Big Harry
how
Maguire.
I love how it's just in the game Harry Maguire fashion goes up to the ref. You cheating shit. That meme on Twitter the whole time. I'm like, did he actually say that? He actually did say that.
Yeah, he actually did. Yeah, he
I
absolutely
freaking
did.
love it.
Yes,
I
he did.
freaking love it. That's great.
There we go, boys. That's our quick rundown of the games ahead.
never
Hopefully,
quick.
Michael's got his notebook.
I was going to say, I
and
feel like quick
Yeah.
is an interesting use of that word.
That's
but, yeah.
not quick. It was never quick.
That's quick for us. An hour and a half. That's pretty quick.
That's not bad for us, actually. Yeah.
That's not bad. Matty's back. We've gone way over time again. There's a shocker.
Wow, who could have seen this coming? Wow, if it isn't the
Freaking love that.
consequences of my actions, that's crazy.
There it is again. Right back again.
Your words, not ours, man.
Yeah, sorry.
You said
Oh, shit.
I've been back
Oh.
for one show and it's all gone to pot. Yeah, Jesus. this is
gone straight off the back.
Pretty on
straight off
brand,
the
yep.
deep end.
Godspeed.
Pretty on brand.
God
Right,
save
boys. I'm calling it. It's
Cool.
midnight over here or whatever it is.
Great. Love it.
We
Love
got to shoot. DJ, thanks for tuning in. Peaches,
Love
love
you
you guys
guys.
in the
Love you
chats.
guys.
Michael, really
Peace,
appreciate
guys.
you joining us.
Chat
Gino,
has been popping.
love you,
today.
bro.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been firing. Absolutely fire. Couldn't have done it without those boys. Matty, lovely to speak to you, man. Take it easy. We'll
Be
see
back.
you all next week. Until then, this has been Let the Mayhem Begin, and the Mayhem really did begin.
I'm ready to get hurt again.